of independence is a massive milestone for India. On August 15th, as the national flag went up over the Red Fort, the entire country tuned in to hear from the Prime Minister. A moment with this kind of historical weight naturally demands a clear progress report. Citizens have a right to a factual audit of what the nation has actually achieved over 8 decades and where the remaining gaps lie. But instead of a transparent balance sheet, the Prime Minister's address focused on a new political buzzword, Dimagi Naxalvad, or intellectual Naxalism. This pivot toward rhetorical conflict creates a widening gap between the political discourse in the capital and the ground reality facing the public. When the performance in Delhi moves away from the data, the country's actual challenges go unaddressed. Since political leadership passed on evaluating the country's actual standing, we must open the books and conduct the missing national audit ourselves. We start with the economy. The current administration frequently phthalates its goal of making India a central global hub for artificial intelligence, but the sector currently lacks an indigenous, competitive AI platform. Without domestic infrastructure, Indian technology remains reliant on foreign systems like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. This reliance mirrors the broader trade balance. The gap between what India produces and consumes from abroad has widened, pushing the national trade deficit to an all-time high. This macro failure reaches small businesses, with growth curves flatlining across domestic manufacturing. This creates a stark contrast. While leadership speaks of a tech-driven future, 800 million citizens still rely on government food rations to survive. The second category of our audit is human capital. Political speeches frequently promise the opening of 1,000 new universities to capture the potential of India's youth. Yet, looking at the global metrics, not a single Indian university currently ranks within the top 200 worldwide. The issue begins with the foundational years. Recent reports show that 95,000 primary schools have shut down, while many remaining facilities struggle with poor infrastructure and maintenance. This creates a bottleneck in the labor market. With permanent government hiring largely on hold, millions of graduates are funneled into insecure, contract-based gig work. The scale of this mismatch is reflected in the migration data. Record numbers of top-tier professionals and wealthy citizens are moving abroad, taking their skills and capital to foreign markets. Instead of realizing a demographic dividend, the system is producing a generation of overqualified labor without a stable domestic market to enter. After the 2024 elections, the political opposition was positioned to address these failures. They reduced the BJP to 240 seats, gaining numbers to force transparency. But instead of using that mandate to present a data-backed policy alternative, the India bloc has frequently engaged in social media controversies and the mockery of foreign leaders. This focus has come at a cost. Internal disagreements have multiplied, and the bloc has begun to lose the support of critical regional partners like the DMK. While the opposition focuses on social media, the ruling party is quietly consolidating. Home Minister Amit Shah and the BJP leadership are working to bring smaller factions into the fold, strengthening their position ahead of the winter session. The public provided a mandate for accountability. By prioritizing performance over rigorous policy checking, the opposition has left a critical gap in the democratic process. When political discourse relies on rhetoric rather than data, the pressure eventually reaches the institutions tasked with oversight. We see this in the Election Commission, which increasingly faces accusations of partisan behavior. Simultaneously, the media landscape has divided into factions of supporters and opponents, leaving little room for objective reporting. This trend has reached the legal system. Heads of institutions, like the Bar Council, have been seen prioritizing political alignment over the rights and professional interests of the students they represent. The result is a dual deficit. India currently lacks both a leadership focused on structural problem-solving and an opposition capable of demanding transparency. With Republic Day approaching, the window for meaningful reform is narrow. Moving from social media activism to a data-driven roadmap is the only way to re-anchor the political discourse in reality.